Can you guys see me? Let's see what's going on here. Are we live? Are we live? I am live. Did you guys see me? What's going on, guys? I'm gonna get started here in a second, just getting everything rolling. Are we live? Yeah, it's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day in Houston. What are you guys up to today? I am live. Did you guys see me? I just got back on from my second test drive with Goose, and tell you guys, get started here in a second. Turbo's where it's at. Getting everything rolling. If you're enjoying your Saturday, cool. Don't mind me. I'm probably gonna be beautiful day. Sipping on my beautiful day in Houston while we talk about Volkswagens. What are you guys up to today? If you have questions, go ahead and start populating those questions in the live chat over here. I just got back on whatever you guys want to talk about. From my second test drive too. I'm gonna try to get Goose over to the. Tell you guys, get started here in a second. Turbo's where it's at. That we have here with all different kinds of cars. If you're enjoying your Saturday, cool. Don't mind me. But everything. Beautiful day. Beautiful day. Try to get over there for the first time. She's still kind of in, torn apart. Have questions? Go ahead and start populating those questions. Just show up the engine. The live. I haven't been out in a while. I just got back on whatever you guys want to talk about. From my second test drive too. I'm gonna try to get Goose over to the. Tell you guys, get started here in a second. Turbo's where it's at. That we have here with all different kinds of cars. If you're enjoying your Saturday, cool. Don't mind me. But everything. Beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. Try to get over there for the first time. She's still kind of in. There's a little bit of delay, and it's the first time I've. Questions. Ran this. Go ahead and start populating those questions. Just show up the engine. The live. I haven't been out in a while. I just got back on whatever you guys want to talk about. From my second test drive too. I'm gonna try to Goose and tell you guys, get started here in a second. Turbo's where it's at. All right. Tell me if you hear the echo now. We'll give it a second. I just unplugged the earbuds I had in. You guys hear the echo now? Is it still there? Give me a yes or no. Give me a yes or no. Echo still there? Can you hear it? Can you hear the echo? Any echo? No echo? Ah, much better. Sorry about that, guys. I haven't live streamed in a long time. It's been a minute. So the last video that I put out to you guys was, kind of discovered a little bit of a leaking issue that I caused, self-inflicted pain on my engine. It's went a little bit too far when I was cranking down that fitting. I was trying to make clearance for the turbo because the turbo was kind of jamming into that fitting a little bit when I put everything together. If you guys didn't know already, when I purchased this motor and transmission setup, it was in a later model Volkswagen. And hello friends, it was in a later model VW, and there was a little bit more room. So I've had to do some clearancing and a little bit of modifications throughout this build to be able to get everything to fit right inside of Goose, the earlier chassis. Especially with the Berg 5-speed. There was a ton of work to do there. Let's see. Good, no echo. So, after doing all that clearancing and making the room for stuff, it was time to go out there and test drive, and it's been a long time, guys. For those of you who've been following the channel for a while, you know that Goose has had an evolution. She's gone from the original 1600, which was a smaller motor with a single carburetor, and then I upgraded to the General, my 2276, and now I got this monster, this beast of a motor in there now, and What's going on, Corpus? Hey, you're not too far. What is Corpus about? Like 6 hours from where I am in Kemah or the Houston area. That's not. I've been down there a couple times. The what was I saying? I was saying about the evolution. So yeah, I've got the General was an awesome motor, and it took me a while to get that all tuned in with the carburetors. I had Weber IDFs, the 44s on there, and if you've worked with carburetors, you know that they can be, well, you better love them. You better love the carburetors if you're going to work with them, because they can be a total pain in the butt. The single carburetor can be a pain in the butt, or the dual carburetors can be a pain in the butt. But once I got them dialed in using that CB Performance linkage and the reverse manifolds, everything was great. And then I got the wild hair up my butt that I was going to go, you know what? I've been wanting to do a big motor, like a huge motor. I wanted to do a turbo motor. I was thinking about doing a turbo through my carburetors, because I had seen people that had done carbureted turbo systems, but they had all kinds of different fueling issues. And all right, we got an open question. Well, let me finish this thought up real quick, and I'll get right to it. The idea of doing the turbo through the carbureted type setup, you could do it, but it's just you're kind of plagued with fueling issues, and it's one more thing you have to work through. So when I came across the opportunity to pick up this EFI turbo motor from Daryl, one of my buddies, and the price was right, I couldn't help myself. So that's what kind of like led into this crazy tearing my car apart for over a year to get it all set up for this monster motor. And let me tell you what, having her back on the road feels good. So let me get to this question. Let's get to this question. Let's see. Question, got a 71 Super Beetle, stock bottom end with 40 Pentronics, dual quiet packs, scat 1:4 ratio rockers. I have the correct valve geometry, but when rotating 180, I can push up and push down the push rods. So did you check your lift at half? So when you say your valve geometry is right, your you would have checked your lift at, you would adjust it at half lift. That's what you should have been adjusting at. If it's the durations, would you say? Well, you didn't say the duration, but the duration, like for my 1:4s with my cam that I was running, was like 520 was the duration. So you have to go half that lift. So at half lift, you have to find that duration, and then that's where you actually do your adjustment and set your geometry. I've done a couple of videos on that, and they kind of bounce around a little bit because I was doing geometry on a stock type setup when I was doing. I think I was doing a different type of rockers. It's been a while since I did that motor, but when I did my larger motor, if you don't set your geometry at half lift, it's not going to be right. Having that much play in your push rod, it's definitely not good either. But when you set your geometry, did you have your push rods adjusted correctly? Now, you're supposed to do your push rods at like a zero lash or like a loose zero lash whenever you're setting that adjustment. So at half lift, your push rod in with like a zero lash, that's where you're supposed to adjust it. And that should give you enough play in your adjustment at your rocker to be able to make up or do any kind of like change that you have to do. I have to, let me see what you got. Yeah, it's weird. It's a complete scat set combined with push rods. I followed your video when doing it. Yeah, it's you shouldn't have that play. And it's really hard. This is where it gets difficult. If anybody out there has any information, like I know VW Daring has done a ton of these, and shout out to VW Daring when it comes to valve geometry and setting up a motor. Did you buy the ones where you have to cut them? Or like your kit, or were they like pre-made? If it was a whole kit where everything was supposed to be right, like the cam combination, your motor combination, you got 1:4s, was that all part of the kit? Like were they already pre-cut? If that's true, then I don't know what the problem is, because the only time I've seen people have issues with their push rods not, being the right length is normally when you have to cut them yourself and you don't cut them right. You got an adjustable push rod that you get, and you got to set that adjustable push rod as like a tool, an adjustable push rod when you're doing your valve geometry. And if you get that off, then you're just going to be in all kinds of trouble. Let's see. Yeah, it's the whole thing's a kit. I don't know. Did you call up Scat and ask them about it? Because that is super weird. Did you have to do any shimming on your 1:4 rockers? maybe your shimming is off. You know, when you're at half lift, if you have to make an adjustment at half lift, then you add shims, and that kind of gets your balance, because you're at the front of the rocker and at the back of the rocker where your actual push rod is and where the valve is, they should be level at half lift. And if they're not level at half lift, that's where you start adding shims until you get that level. Okay, let's see. Don't forget, guys, to like the stream. It helps out with getting it out there to anybody else that doesn't know that I'm doing this today, because it was kind of short notice. A short notice live stream. It is beautiful outside, but it's super hot. And I finally decided to get myself an AC unit for the garage. We'll see how it works. If it gives me any kind of like relief from what's coming when it comes to the summer heat, then that'll be awesome. So, hey, what's going on, man? From Hawaii. What's the weather out there in Hawaii like? You guys like 70 and fantastic? Don't brag. Don't brag too much. Drink time, guys. Drink time. So, the sensors for the Haltech Elite 1500. Needless to say, I jacked some of those up here and there. I've already toasted one fuel sending sensor. I'm going to have to pick up another fuel sensor, because somewhere in the mix I got a 12 volt reference voltage going to that sensor, and it's supposed to be a 5 volt, and if you do that, bye-bye sensors. Tucked away for the summer. In Phoenix, I used to live in Phoenix. It was the first base I was stationed at when I was in the military. It's nice there at nighttime. That's what I'd be cruising at night, every night, if I was in Phoenix. Don't tuck her away. Get her out of the garage. The next step, like I have quite some other stuff I had to fix with the Haltech before I take it to the tuner. So I've had it out on the road. Let me tell you what. First to fifth gear is like bam, 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 bam. I'm all the way up to fifth gear in probably like 3 or 4 seconds. We're not gonna talk about how fast that is, but it ain't slow. It ain't slow. She goes. She's not even tuned yet, and I'm running 93 right now. Before with the flex fuel sensor, because the Haltech with the whole computer and everything that I'm running, the Haltech will allow me to run either flex fuel, which is like, E85, or like 93, the high octane stuff. So the first thing we're going to be doing is tuning it on the 93, and then we'll tune it on the E85, and that's where the power comes in with the E85, because if you don't know anything about turbos, if you don't know anything about high power motors, when you're tuning on E85, you have a lot less detonation, which allows more power. It burns cooler, which means your motor is going to run cooler. And with turbo applications, that's where you get the extra like 100 horsepower, and that's where things are going to get interesting. So, all right, guys, let's see what we got here. Got another question. All right, Rick. What do I do for a living? I'm a Toyota tech. You're very mechanically inclined. Oh, I was a vehicle technician. I was a mechanic in the military. I used to have all kinds of ASE certifications back in the day, which I don't anymore. But right now I work in telecommunications. I work for T-Mobile. I'm a project manager. I used to be a field technician. I used to climb towers back in the day when I was a thinner me. Actually, I was probably a little fatter when I was climbing towers, to be honest. We ate really good when I worked out in the field. So, yeah, but what I do now is I'm a project manager. So pretty much make sure that everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing. Everybody knows if you're a project manager, you're just a super babysitter. Yeah. Your son is a Marine stationed in, Japan. That's awesome. I always wanted to go to Misawa in Japan. There's a base there. They have like 2-year stints, like little 2-year not deployments, but 2-year assignments to Japan. And I always wanted to go, but I was married with children, and you can't bring the kids and the wife when you go to Japan, so that never happened. What's going on, Roy? What's going on, buddy? Am I hiring? Let me tell you what, guys, my garage is super small. Like, sometimes I have buddies over to work in the garage or to help out in the garage, and they're like, man, how do you get stuff done in here? I'm like, I know. I can't fit nobody else in there. When my kids in there, I stumble over them, but they're my kids, and they need to get in the garage every now and then to pick up some of this mechanical knowledge, right? So I got the oil leak fixed on the engine. In the next video, we're going to kind of go through more of that, kind of show off the engine, show off the running, show you kind of everything else I've done to button everything up on the underside. You guys also saw that I picked up some of the brake lines. If you follow my social media, you know, like Instagram, the Facebook group. If you follow any of my social media, you've seen that I picked up some of those banjo-style brake lines for the back that run from one of the fittings runs over right to the caliber, and it's a banjo fitting, and it looks super nice. And Pete over there got some pretty cool stuff. I've never bought any of his front end stuff, but I did buy. Let me see. You guys see? All right. So whenever I did the live stream, I think once before, down in the garage with my kiddo. He was helping me out, and we just had all kind of interruptions, and it was pretty sketchy. You know, it was really choppy too, and so I haven't done a live stream in a while. But when I do live streams up in the apartment where I have, you know, decent internet, things work quite a bit better. All right, let's check for questions. What do we got? Oh yeah, you guys are like, oh, where'd you go? What do I think the total budget is on my build? Dan sure is asking me for. Let's see. My total budget on the build. Well, first off, guys, let me preface this by saying I'm single. I at one time had a girlfriend, and it was pretty serious, and she wasn't too keen on Goose, you know, like she didn't come down and hang out. See, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a girl that doesn't have a problem coming down in the garage and maybe having a beer or two with me while I have my struggles with my other girl, Goose, down there. So I stay single. But to get back to the question, the budget. There was no budget. There was no budget. It was I've spent way more money than I'm actually inclined to say. But if you start doing, I got my stuff used for the most part, so I did save some money there. But if you start doing like a price breakdown of the parts alone, we're not talking custom stuff, guys. We're not talking 20K. 20K is that's a good ballpark on maybe the buying an engine. If you guys have ever been over to, who is it? What's the engine builder? Powerhouse. If you checked out Powerhouse and some of the motors that they build, the turbo motors that they build, I'll give you a general idea on what a motor would cost you to build or have built. It's one thing if you build it yourself, but you know, unless you have some serious experience, I don't really recommend building your own motor unless it's, you know, like you're a stocker. If you want to build like a 1600 or buy a kit, even buying the kit, the bearings can kind of be a little sketchy sometimes. Sometimes the bearings you get, they don't match up so great, and you need to definitely verify that the bearing fit is good. You know what I mean? But even when you buy a kit, doesn't mean that it's gonna be perfect. So, like when my 2276, man, when I built that motor, I brought parts in from all over the place. I got my block from Facebook, which I don't know how many times I've had people that are like, "Hey Jay, can you find me a block?" I'm like, "Hey, no." Go search yourself. All right, let me check out some of these questions. Money and the wife do not get along. It's the truth. The wife doesn't like to see you spending money on things other than the house, the kids, or of course her, right? So when you start spending money on, they're never gonna get it. There's a few women out there, I'm sure, that'll get it because they're car girls too. They like cars. They like to go fast. They like to play in their cars. But if I was with a girl, there's no damn way that she'd probably be okay with the amount of money I've spent on the true love of my life. All right, let's see what we got going on here. Money in the white, that's true. From Mark Berry, definitely some goods with the E85. Yep, more power, cooler heads for sure. The bad is it clogs injectors. Yes. Did you guys not see that I bought an injector cleaner though? I am preparing for the E85 clogged injectors. I bought myself an injector cleaner that works pretty good. I like it. I think I'm gonna have to come up with an adapter to be able to do the reverse flow on the injectors though, because they don't really fit well, upside down inside that thing. The injectors that I'm running, the EV6s. Yeah, they're a little bit smaller and they don't fit inside the couplers that came with that thing. So I might have to have some made, or maybe I can buy some. I don't know. I haven't looked yet, but it's pretty cool. You can do all kinds of different tests. Plus, it's got one of those little cleaners in the back side of it, so it'll clean up the injectors and a bunch of crap comes out of there. It was pretty cool when I cleaned them the first time. It wasn't like they weren't super dirty, but it did clean them up quite a bit. Let's see. I've been wrestling to use E85 or Bucky's no ethanol 92. I ran the ethanol-free gas strictly. That's all I ran in my 2276. And once I got my carburetors dialed in, I never had a carburetor issue ever again after that. E85 is a lot. I'm sure you're going to have all kinds of hell of issues with E85. But that 92 ethanol-free gas, that stuff's like magic. And it's worked great in my carburetors. Hey, Mike, what's going on? Mike Hemmer. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, it's... I will tell you guys that, just like with any YouTuber out there, I would say 90% of the comments I get are guys just like you and me that are out in the garage struggling, just trying to keep our babies on the road. And there are not very many people out there doing the builds like I just did. Because, well, we just talked about money, right? I'm gonna have another bug. I'm gonna have another bug soon. I hope sooner than later. And it's just gonna be a regular bug, nothing crazy. Something that I a little bit more relatable when it comes to when I work on it and stuff like that, and I can share that stuff with you guys. But as I was saying, when it comes to the peanut gallery, I appreciate you, Mike, and I appreciate that you enjoy the channel. You enjoy what I put out there for you guys. For the longest, there's times when I just don't feel like making videos. I just feel like working on my car. And then then I get a comment from somebody, like it's, I think it was Richard. Richard, where's my phone at? Dang it. I'm horrible with names. But, Richard, you know who you are. Richard, you know who you are. He sent me a comment on my website. You guys check out my website. If any of you guys want channel stickers, they are now. I know I was out for a little bit, and some people were asking about channel stickers. If you want a channel sticker, you can jump over to jwclassicvw.com, and you can pick up some channel stickers. You can stick it on your toolbox or whatever, like $3, and it helps out the channel. I appreciate you guys. Well, I was out for a little bit, but I got them back in again. So if you want one, go ahead and hit that up, and it's $3, and then that includes shipping, and that's my little plug for the channel. So, see what we got going on over here. Comment-wise. This, true wisdom. Yeah, you know what wisdom is? Wisdom is somebody that's jacked up a lot. And I will tell you, I've done my fair share of jacking up in the garage. I don't know how many times I've broken something, done something the wrong way, didn't read the book that I bought, and I learned from that. But that's part of it. That's part of why we work on our cars is, we break it, then we fix it. We break it, and then we fix it. That's probably part of what drives the ladies in our lives crazy is, why are you breaking your car all the time? Because I want to spend more time in the garage. All right, here we go. See if I can answer some more questions. Your wife had, Charlie, your wife had a 71 Mach 1. Hell yeah, man. That's some real muscle right there. So you must have one of the good ones. A Mach, because any woman that owns a Mach 1 or anything in the Ford range, and I'm not going to get into Ford Chevy guys because I'm a VW guy, but anybody that's got anything in the Ford range, especially the 70s, you love that car. You love that car, or you hate it. One or the other. Oh, all right. We got here. Recommend disc brakes for a 69 Gia. Wife hates the drum brakes. Oh yeah, I'll always recommend disc brakes. I recommend 4-wheel disc brakes. Why? Because you can get the MP kits. They're like $300 something bucks for the front, to get the front, and so maybe $1,000 all the way around. With tax and shipping or whatever it would be. But CIP1 always has deals when it comes to brakes, where you can get like the AC Industries brake kits. They're usually not super expensive, and I always recommend disc brakes. One, you don't have adjustments anymore. As long as you bed the brakes in correctly, which that's kind of like my two test drives. Two test drives have been with Goose have been just to get my brakes bedded in, and that's what killed my first set of rotors on my bad brakes, is I didn't bed those suckers in the right way. But as long as you bed them in right, disc brakes are amazing and way better pedal, better braking. And there's lots of guys out there that'll be like, well, the drum brakes are just as good as long as you keep them adjusted. And that's the thing. Especially if you have your wife, who's, I'm sure she's not adjusting any of those brakes. Maybe she is. I don't know. I'm making an assumption there. But you don't have to do that with disc brakes. All right, let's see what we got going on here. I think the next bug is going to be something that can be driven and don't have to worry about everything. Are you making a joke? Because if you own a VW, you're going to have stuff to worry about. That's one thing that's good about being a YouTube guy with a Volkswagen. I'm always going to have content, guys. How often I get from people that, so once you finish Goose, what are you going to do next? I'm like, Goose is never going to be finished. There's always going to be something to do, or I'm going to break something, That's the truth. All right, let's see. I'm stuck on disc brakes as well. I'm stuck with a 2-inch drop spindles, but not narrowed. If you get disc brakes, most of them have an offset. Like you guys saw that I did my video on narrowing the front beam. I don't know, did you see that? I don't want to put up another picture here. I got to get back in OBS so I understand what I'm doing here. But I did narrow my front beam, and the reason why I narrowed my front beam is because once I put the disc brakes on there, and it was a 2-inch narrowed beam. So if you try to put disc brakes on a non-narrowed beam, you're definitely going to have issues. So I had to narrow my beam because once I put, and it was 2 inches narrowed already, once I put my disc brake kit on there, they were like 1/2 inch offset, so about 1 inch offset on both sides. And with the tires and everything, once I had my kids in there, they were rubbing. My front fenders started rubbing. So that's why I ended up cutting off another 2 inches, roughly 2 inches off of both sides so that I could get those things not to rub. And I just didn't feel like buying another beam. But yeah, you're gonna have to get a narrow beam if you get disc brakes. That's just how it is. All right. Let's see. E85 and the Evo. Dang, Mark. 650 horsepower. Was that at the wheels or is that flywheel power? I keep telling people like when I tell you 300 horsepower in my bug, that's at the wheels, gentlemen. That's at the wheels. With 16 pounds of boost, yeah, that's about what I'll be running. About 16 pounds of boost with the E85. Even partially clogging the injectors running boost going to be. Oh yeah, it's very fast, very fast. Yes. All right, Charlie. Peter Air-Cooled is coming out with their Gen 2 brakes in July. Willwood, but half the price of their old Gen. Oh, really? Half the price? How's he doing that? Is there a material? Does he got material I don't know about? That's awesome, though. Yeah, Pete's got some pretty cool stuff over there at Air-Cooled. So check it out, man. I like to just peruse the websites every now and then. It's window shopping at its best. Every time I go to like CB Performance, I probably spend like an extra hour going through their website, just looking at, ooh, that's cool. That's cool. I could maybe use one of those someday. I don't know how often I buy stuff that I can't even put on my cart because I'm like, I'll use that at another VW at some point. Oh, Jason, can you open donations? Love to give you some support. Oh, how do you do that? Oh, I mean super chats? I think you have to do that before the live stream. But you can go over and buy some channel stickers from the website if you want to. I also got some jet tags over there. You guys see those? Those remove before flight jet tags at my website? Yeah, those are pretty cool. I picked some of those up so I could offer them to you guys. You kind of go on like velocity stacks, you know, at shows and stuff, or you put them on your keychain. It's just cool jazz. That's or just hit the like button, guys. If you hit the like button. I just hit the like button. Hit the like button. That's also a way you can help out. But let me see. What else we got here? Turbine powered Goose. Oh, she's amazing, man. That turbo is no joke, and I hear it kicking in. But I also think I hear the boost cutting off because it's not tuned yet. So it's saving itself from my heavy foot. Looks like it relocated your fuel pump. Was it for need of gravity feed? So my fuel pump was I don't know if you guys have ever heard a fuel pump whine before, but oh my god, it sounds like your motor's about to blow up. So I'm gonna tell you right off the bat, I probably ran that fuel pump a few times more than I should have in a dry type situation, you know, without any fuel in my tank. So that original Bosch 044 was probably destined for the graveyard anyway. And I had bought a replacement. Like they came out with a new 044, or what's supposed to replace the Bosch 044, and that one is a little bit smaller. It's actually fits a little bit better in the location where I did relocate it. And I kept reading like mixed information when it came about the Bosch 44's ability to pull fuel or suck fuel versus having fuel at the head. You know, fuel right at the head of the pump or fuel on demand. There's also the in-tank option, which I'm not cutting up my fuel tank yet, boys. That fuel tank is original. I did cut it for the sending unit, but that was an option from the dealership. So I kind of justified that one in my brain. But relocation was also to help out with gravity, because I was a little bit concerned that I was gonna have issues when it came to horsepower in my tuner. Because if you guys know anything about tuning a turbo EFI motor, one of the things that can cause serious headaches is fuel, and if you don't have enough fuel getting to your motor when it needs it. So after doing some troubleshooting, I replaced the pump and relocated it, and it did seem to help out some. But what I ended up finding was my 100 micron fuel filter. I had one of those it's a JR, it's a RXT or Race something 6AN to 6AN stainless steel fuel filters of the XRP, Extreme Racing Performance, that's what it is. Fuel filters to the backside, and it had gotten clogged up. The screen was full of black crap and debris from me cutting my fuel lines and not cleaning them out enough. So yeah, lesson learned there. Kill the fuel pump, learned that lesson. I took my filter apart, and I was able to wipe off all that crap off the screen. But I made the mistake of thinking that screen was removable, and I pulled a little too hard, and I ruined that damn filter. So right now it's just a empty housing, 100 micron empty housing up there, And I'm not going to run it very long like that. I've already ordered a new filter to put back there because that 100 micron filter did its job. It kept crapped out of my injectors. So once I replace that, we should be good to go. Let's see what we got going on here. All right. Dun, dun, dun. 600 flywheel. Okay, 500. Well, 500 horsepower at the wheels ain't too shabby. Charlie, can't leave E85 standing too long. Water separates. Well, yeah, you got to drive your car, man. I don't know how you guys are, but for the most part, when Goose is running, that's why I was having such a hard time when she was not on the road, is I'll take her out almost every night, man. There's gas doesn't last very long in my tank. And that's, I don't think they have stabilizers out there for E85, but yeah, you're right. It's good to run, but it's not good to sit for too long. Well, most gases are like that, unless they're ethanol free. Like at Buc-ee's, you can get that 92 ethanol free. That stuff will last a while. You can get some seafoam and put it in, some of that seafoam crap you can get from AutoZone. Well, you can put some of that to help stabilize the fuel a little bit in your tank, but I don't know if it works very good with E85. I don't know. I'm not sure. What was the turbo a factory option too? Don't get saucy with me, man. Talk about my turbo. Well, I don't know. Maybe in some countries it was. All right. What size injectors? Oh, they're 1,000cc injectors. Which, when it comes to duty cycle, I'm probably using like 40% of that. But I have lots of room. But yeah, they're 1,000cc injectors. Oh, Rick's got a question. How do you feel about adding a PVC system to the exhaust? Let me see. We steal a little muscle of cars and power. How about VWs? I don't know. PCV. What is that? Because when you say that, I think about like venting. Or is that like to bypass the muffler? Is that one of those systems? Is that what you mean by that? Like, when you have like the valve that opens and bypasses the muffler and you kind of like straight pipe it. I did run my turbo motor a little bit without the muffler on there, and I'm not doing that anymore because that sucker is loud as crap. All right, how long have we been running this thing for? How long has this stream been running for? 30. Well, I ain't planning on doing like 30 minutes. So let me kind of button up the video, guys. Let's button up the live stream. A little bit of update of what's going on. I'm gonna try to get the video content finished up and record it and see if I can get the next video out probably tomorrow, maybe tomorrow. We'll see. I play pool tomorrow too. If you guys didn't know, I play APA pool, American Pool Players Association. I play pool on Sundays, and if I have enough time, I should be able to get the video finished up and hopefully I get the content finished up today and get down in the garage tonight and do some of the recording. Oh, let's see. Rick, a quest is supposed to scavenge all the crankcases. Oh, I don't know. I don't know anything about that system that you're talking about there. But isn't that what you're doing with a turbo system anyway? Is you're just recirculating any gas, and that's your wastegate bleeds off all the crap you can't use. But I have seen where on turbo systems they will recirculate around to the front side of the turbo to kind of keep it spun up, so you keep keep it in boost. I've seen systems like that on blow-off valves, which we'll talk about blow-off valves maybe a little bit in a later video, guys, because I know a lot of you are curious about the pre-post location of a blow-off valve when it comes to your throttle body and the pressures that can kind of be put against your turbo. Well, this turbo has been upgraded. It's got all kinds of go fast goodness that's been done to it, and it shouldn't be affected too much by any kind of kickback from when my throttle body flap goes down. But I had thought about relocating the blow-off valve pre-butterfly, just to prevent any of that kind of stuff. But Daryl swears by that location, so I'm gonna run a little while like that, see how she does, and if she does fine and I don't see any damage or any kind of issues happening, then I'll probably keep it that way. So let's see. My fronts are 165. Oh, I was talking about my wheels and tires, my combination that I have going on. My fronts are 165 R15s. They're, I think the rims are 4-inch rims. My back is 4.5-inch rims, and they're 205 15s. So let's see. You want to show the Goose? Let me show you the Goose. I don't have any pictures up here of Goose right now, but you can go to my Instagram, and I put a pretty good video out there of Goose. I was driving around, but the next video I'm going to show you all the motor goodness, guys. All the motor goodness. Kind of show you the undercarriage again. Things buttoned up, things out of the way, all my oil line routing. Kind of show you what I end up doing with that. Also show you the fix for that oil leak. Kind of like what I ended up doing for that as well. PCV exhaust sounds like snake oil. Sounds like a good opportunity to blow out. So blah blah blah. You're probably right, Charlie. You're probably right. I don't know though. I really can't say. I've seen people do some different types of setups, and I'm open to anybody doing whatever you want to do on your own car. I'm pretty sure that as far as it comes to Goose, this is probably going to be her final motor type setup once I get it all tuned and going. But we'll have to see, because just driving around with her right now, she's probably about 220, 240 horsepower on the 93 with the current tune that's on there. And let me tell you what, man, it is, when she goes into boost, she's a different car. She's a totally different car, man. Totally different car. She drives and handles like a race car. And that Berg 5-speed, if you guys don't know anything about straight cut gears in the Berg 5-speed, most of those are kind of straight cut gears. And she's a noisy transaxle, baby. You feel, well, I don't have anything closed up on the backside yet as I'm driving around, so I'm probably getting more noise than I will be getting as when I carpet it all, get all the insulation back in there, it won't be as bad. It'll deaden quite a bit of that. But yeah, man, that's a noisy transaxle, and she just wants to go. Just wants to go. All right, let's see what we got going on here. Thanks for all you do. No problem, Mark. I love working on my car, man. I love sharing it with you guys, because I know that you guys like getting out in your garages too, and sometimes it's hard to grab that motivation. I don't know how many times in the last couple weeks. That's why I haven't put out a video in the last couple weeks too, guys. It's my kid graduated, my oldest boy. He's 18. He just graduated. He's going to be going to Texas Tech. Out there, be a Red Raider and doing great things. He's going to be a meteorologist. So my son's going to be a weatherman. Or he's going to chase storms or whatever it is that his heart desires. But he's going to go out there and do great things. I'm super proud of him. And I've been spending time with the family. My mom was in town last week too, so it's didn't have time for video stuff, guys. I will say I did go down to my garage a couple times to do some things, but back at it now, guys. Don't forget to stop by and check out the website. Get yourself a channel sticker if you haven't done so already. Like the video if you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed the live streams, if you guys want me to keep doing live streams and figure out this OBD2C whatever crap, so you guys can, I don't know, drop in some super chats and show your love, then cool. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Get out there and do some stuff in your garage. Have some fun. Spend some time with your family. And, yeah. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. Talk to you soon. This is Jason. And I'm out. I'm out. Talk to you later.